All right, we're going to see if anybody comes on. I haven't done one of these in a while, but I figured, and I look like roughness, don't I? So this is just a mama chat. Mm-hmm. A mama chat on like what's going on, because I have no idea if I'll be able to upload a video or not. It's my internet's been really wonky lately, and I just figured I'd tell you what we've got going on, and I'll tell you like some of the things after teaching now 3/4 of a year in the public school, like what it's like, I guess you would say, what it's like. Anyway, so I'm just so Trish, if you're new here and you've never caught a live before, um, homeschool mom. I'm a mom of 6 kids, and we homeschooled for about 10 years, and then our house had flooded. And in the midst of that, we lived for 3 years in a tiny house, and I just won't lie, I just kind of broke down, fell apart, and put my kids in public school. And in order to put them in public school, for me to feel comfortable with that, hey Doris, how are you? To feel comfortable putting them in public school, what I did was I went to public school with them. I went and sat for, I have an engineering degree, and I sat for the math teaching certificate and got a temporary certificate to teach. And I went and taught. I went and taught. I went and taught last year. About a quarter of the way, like by the first quarter, it was like it was horribly hard. None of my kids drove, and juggling everything with the kids was just insane. So I brought 2 of my kids home, my middle schooler and my 5th grader home. And I'm not going to lie, that was probably the most disastrous year of homeschooling I've ever had in my life with just the 2 of them, because I still needed to drive my kids in to school. And it's 15 miles. So I would drive there and drive back and be done, only to have to turn around and drive there and drive back again later on in the afternoon. And so what ended up happening was I was mentally exhausted from teaching. I was mentally exhausted before going into teaching, that it just was a recipe for me needing to rest, and my kids got little to no support from me. And now I look back and regret, I should have just took them to the beach. But I always felt like I had to be doing something here at the house to catch up. And so I didn't. And that's a huge regret. So coming into this year, I plan to keep them all home. And I was just debating about this, what I should do. Kind of last minute, I'm like, you know what, if y'all want to go to school, go to school. I had no plans of going to school with them. I was just going to send them off. Well, I put them in on Monday. I think by Tuesday morning, they started calling me, or Monday night, they started calling me would you come back and teach? We are short math teachers. Or no, they were we're short teachers. Would you just come sub? And I'm like, fine, let me think about it. Well, that was Monday. By Friday, I was not subbing. I was teaching as a full-time teacher for math. I don't know how I got roped into that. I felt bad. They begged. I came. And it's been a much better situation this year than it was last year. One of the things that makes it easier is my elementary school kids actually get to take the bus to the middle school and teach and ride there, and they show up right after school. So I don't have to worry about them, where in the year before I had to worry about them. But I'm going to tell you, I'm just not going to lie. This third quarter has been horribly difficult. It has been just so hard. And every day I'm just craving to be back homeschooling. I miss those really slow days of just kind of relaxing and just enjoying each other, because I feel like we're never home. My house right now is such a wreck. What tool? I think you should use a spatula.
That's why I think I didn't.
No, not a wooden one. You should use, that one. And then use the back of it. Yep, like that. Nope, the back of it like you were doing. Yeah, and do that. She's making, can you see that? She's making a cream cheese brownie thing. So I was thinking the other day, and I wanted to tell you, but I was so sick I couldn't make a video. Um, just I feel like the sensation of working, and even though I get off at 3:30 every day, what is it really like? I don't come home till after 5 because my girls were playing volleyball. So I feel like I we run back and forth, and like I said, it's 15 miles, so it takes us about 25 minutes to get there and back. So there goes an hour of my day, which that's what happened when last year, like going back and forth was 2 hours. So I feel like a stranger in my house. I feel like it's just I'm not doing much cleaning, am I? I just feel like the house we just come in, we eat. I don't know the last time I sat on my couch. Well, I do because I wasn't feeling good the other night. We don't sit on the couch. That's where the laundry is. We're just in survival mode every day. And then to go, it's you don't even see the mess. If that makes sense. Like you don't even see the how overwhelming because we're in a small house still. We're still in a small house. And it's just when I do have time come Saturday, I get so stressed out because I almost get anxiety because I feel so overwhelmed by the amount of work that has to do. I just want to run away or not come out of bed. If that hopefully that makes sense. So I don't go to bed. So clean. Let me clean. Let me find a pot. One of the pots so I can put my stuff on it. Working on outside. We have a cold front coming through, so it's been storming. Will you get me a pot from down there?
Anything specific?
Yeah, that one. Here's my review. I got these in August. Look, the blue enamel pans from Pioneer Woman because I haven't had new dishes in a long time. They still look beautiful inside, but man, I don't know. Is there a trick to that? I haven't seen. So I just feel like I'm a constant stranger in my house. I feel just overwhelmed. In fact, the first thing I did today was not clean my house. So we're on spring break, which is wonderful going into the halfway mark. Um, Going into not the halfway mark, the spring break mark. It works out really good having that. We have like this week coming up, we actually have the kids are showing their animals at for like the fair. They're showing their animals for the fair. And then what else? We have specialists. Oh my goodness. So if you've been with me a long time, you know that we've been journeying on for my daughter. We've gotten closer with her health issues. We're going this week. I have to travel to Miami to see a dysautonomia doctor specialist. There's a really cool University of Florida seminar on edible landscapes that I'm going to do. So, like, I know this sounds awful, but it's like, yes, I have spring break. And then as I was thinking about it, I was like, there's something almost every day. We have 4-H meeting next week. And then we have, of course, all the running around with the fair stuff. So it's just like, I don't feel like I'm going to have a break. And this is what I feel like. This is why I don't make videos often right now, because it's just always going. And so then I have 10 more weeks and I'm back. One plan is I will not be teaching next year. I will be back to my home self. Is that my little ones will come home. My oldest has gone back to homeschooling mid-year. She's kind of on her own. She's doing our state local virtual school. My son plans to go virtual next year also. Yeah, there's no break. Like, I just feel like I'm just trying to keep pace and survive. And that's, I think, after being home for 10 years and homeschooling, there's this idea, the validations there. You have, Oh, come on, connect. All right, sorry, my internet's acting wonky. Like you feel like, oh, I could get, I don't know, the money's great. No, I think I spend just as much working. Like I think I come out even, which stinks because, and then I'm teaching, I'm just pouring my money in. I keep telling people, I'm like, if you worry about your homeschool, go substitute. Go meet everybody, see everybody, and realize you're doing a great job. Because we are dealing with in our community, and I don't know if it's every school, I don't know. I only know my school and my community. The kids are very lazy. And the laziness, I don't know, like it's contagious. And so all these kids are very lazy. And I'm just like, I don't want my kids to get into the habit. And it's so frustrating because they're missing stuff from previous grades and because of Common Core that I have to teach on 6th grade level and they're not 6th grade level. They're 3rd grade level or 4th grade level. And that's the majority of the kids I have. And they're not willing to put in the time to overcome that. They have anything that takes a little, if it's not obviously spoon fed, Miss, I don't get it. That's what I hear all the time. I don't get it. It's too hard. Do hard things. Nope, it's too hard. I'm done. And I'm like, and I'm just like, and what I've come to realize is you cannot teach anything if they're too lazy to learn it. See, I don't really want to go on that conversation because it just makes me so crazy. Like they're so lazy. The bar keeps getting lowered to try and meet they're willing to work. And here's my thing. If my kids are in that, they are going to get accustomed to being lazy. So this is what happened. And this really became affirming when my daughter came home because of her medical needs. She left school system and came home to homeschool. She goes for one class and they figured out like what's going on. They figured out what's going on. And as we figure out her health issues, it's just she could not keep up with coming and going. And what we think she has is POTS, which I'll have to do a whole video on that. It's essentially like her body will just shut down for days. And I'm like, yes, that's what happens. And that's very common with POTS. And so she had this inconsistency to get to school. And it just got to be the point. It's like, why are we going? Why should we even be going? So I pulled her out. And then they work around the fact that sometimes she's just not there. Well, the nice part is they are on a alternating schedule. So she only has to be there every other day. So that works out like really, really good. Because if she's down for 3 days, she's only going to miss 1 or 2 days of that class. But so she came home and she was in the honors classes. And she came home and she started doing our virtual school. So like in our town, the best education you can get is virtual school because we have an AC private school. Not saying that that's not, that can be very great, demanding, but you have to have that drive to do that. Is that too much background noise with the water running? Let me know. That's why I don't want to start cleaning really good. So she came home and she was just like, she started her FLVS class, and that's what we call it here in the state, FLVS. I know sometimes you're like, what are you talking about? She came home and she's been working on it. And she's like, I didn't realize how lazy I had become by going to school, like putting forth the effort. She goes, I'm having to rebuild my ability to work hard. And I'm like, really? And she even took a college class. She actually failed it just because it was overwhelming for her for it to be online. It was a virtual class and it was just kind of too much for her at the time. And and she was sick. She was sick a lot last fall. So she's like, I didn't realize how lazy it made me, and I started realizing, like, yes, it just it's just it's rough, it's hard, and it comes down to that whole, like, you want your kids to be in a learning environment where iron sharpens iron every day. And it's just, I think the bigger part, the frustrating part to me is it's frustrating to try and do your job. I mean, I have to sit there and give these kids extension after extension. There's no true due date except the end of the quarter. And I have to give them extension after extension to get their work done. They just won't do it. They'll do, and I mean, I have 115 students. And when I closed out, stopped assigned my last class, my last assignment, when that came due at the end of the quarter, I had 64 Fs. No, 66 Fs. 2 of them quit school and became homeschoolers, which they'll be back in school. That's what a lot of them do. What they do is they stay out of school until it's time to report you've done school. And then they go back in the system before their evaluations due. And then they don't have to do anything. And a lot of them skip out on school that way. Oh my goodness, I haven't gotten any notifications that you're posting. This is wonderful that I happen upon this live. Thank you. Hey, Erica. Hey, Therese. So I literally have to constantly extend because they just won't do it. So I had 66 that had Fs. And for 2 weeks, they had 2 weeks to get the last of the assignments. I'm down to 44 Fs. And I had the principal like, what have you done? I'm like, I told you week 3 of this quarter, they're not doing their work. They have just not done their work. I've sent messages home, not doing their work. And I'm like, I give them extensions. I let them redo their work because we're using Khan Academy. That has been like this part. That, and I'm going to tell you, if you want kind of a secular pair up of, I'm just jibber jabbering about life. I'm probably really just having a pity party of just being so overworked. My like favorite pair up right now for doing math and having to teach with standards and all that is Khan Academy all the way, Khan Academy, and then Maneuvering the Middle. Maneuvering the Middle is a website. It's literally www.maneuveringthemiddle.com. It's geared towards teachers, but she has an amazing curriculum. Oh man, I'm hoping they go by quick. She has an amazing curriculum where she has guided notes, homework, quizzes, tests, activities to do that are fun to figure out, and videos. That's the thing. She has videos. So if you buy their 1-year subscription for one subject, it's like $116, $160. Nope, I'm at a public school. So $160, and you get the videos that go along with it. So she'll walk them through how to do the lesson on Maneuvering the Middle. You could just do that. I like Khan Academy because I don't have to grade anything, and I like that it does other tutorial videos. So we've done Khan Academy part of the year, and then I've pulled in hers. But if you needed, it's only 6th, 7th, 8th, and pre-K, or no, 6th, 7th, pre-algebra, and algebra. Those 4 classes. But if you want the whole 4 things, you can get access to all of it for like $360 for a year. And I'm just like, man, that's not bad at all. So I kind of like that. So I'm like going to debate like how things will go next year if I have a middle. I have not decided on. So essentially a recap is I'm home this week. It's spring break. There's something every week. We have fair week. And every time I feel like I'm in survival mode, trying to keep up with the pace of life, working, going to school. We live 15 minutes away. Um, no, 360 for the household for you as a user. You could even do that as a co-op and do study groups actually, which would work out really, really good because you could put some stuff together for them. And I feel like a stranger when I walk in the house, and I'm so overwhelmed, and everything's a hot mess, and it's just we're in survival mode. There's laundry all over the couch, and it's just like I feel I miss the slowness. And then of course the oaks are whatever. See, I'm really just whining here today. Sorry. Welcome back. You haven't seen me in forever, and I'm just gonna sit here and I'm gonna whine. But we've done some good stuff. I have an amazing garden going. Um, I added 2 new boxes. I've posted some pictures on Instagram. I know I don't even post much on there. Um, my daughter's steer did not make weight for the one fair she was supposed to go at. So she is going to do like a prospect show, they call it. It's not where they sell them. And then we're going to raffle off half of him and put the other half in the freezer. And then anyway, so we've been building barns and we've been building stalls, and we have somebody that's going to start using our property. This has been like the best part. We have somebody, and you'll probably see of him, um, and the things he's doing. He has been watching. So he's a friend of ours from church, and he has been watching um, all the Joe I can't say him now right now, and Justin Rhodes and all of that. So he wants to do sheep. And hold on. Let me catch up with these. Hope the last 10 weeks go quickly for you. We are in the Midwest, 20 degrees today. Wishing I lived in Florida. So jealous. It's gonna be like 35 tomorrow morning. I won't lie. I tend to go out to my garden and I'll have mason jars, and then I'll just leave the mason jars outside. And so I went and found my mason jars and stuck them over my little tiny tomato plants. Um, let's see. And then, yeah, and we had like a nasty rainstorm, so we had to pull like the goat bucks out and stuff. And then, oh yeah, my daughter got a job. My oldest got a job. I'm so proud of her. She got this job. I haven't even met her bosses yet. She works as she can on Fridays at an animal auction, and so she loves it. She like gets home at like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. It's crazy. Um, this is at a private school. No, if so, my kids would be doing all the work for price. I would have to pay. You know what's funny is we have one student that just moved here from Jamaica. Bless her heart, she's so miserable because we are so behind her. She's just bored out of her mind. Without any effort, she makes A's, and she makes no efforts. And I'm watching her, and it's so sad. I'm just seeing the decline in her education. And she is in Jamaica. They pay for education. So I had her. I had her tell them she'll barely speak to any. She doesn't speak much out loud. She's very shy. And I'm like, in Jamaica you have to pay, right? And she tells them, they're like, ooh. I'm like, yeah. And here we're like picking you up and dragging you to school, whether you want to be there or not. Personal rabbit trail. Just want to share. Move back to Oklahoma or Oregon. Awesome. $360. No, we did that one. Wine away. We missed you. Yes. Yes. Well, thank you. This is so cool. I love watching Joel and others like him. Hopefully I will get some of my beds planted soon. Still too cold. Yeah. So, he wanted to bring sheep, and we're like, bring sheep. We're not using the land that much. We got room for sheep. And so then he decided to get into meat chickens. So he's got meat chickens coming in 2 weeks. So it works out kind of nice because we have like an invested interest and stuff in it. So he just built, and he's a carpenter. So he's got like amazing skills we don't have. And so he just is in the process of almost done with a chicken tractor that will hold up to 70 birds that he plans to move around. So he's built that. We've ran water lines. Oh my gosh, we've ran so many water lines. out there. And then my husband, being an engineer and contracting and all that, he brings weird stuff home. And so we have these pipes and we have these lids that fit on them for like that you see in town, the little the steel lids that will say water. So we have like that out in my patio so that he can hook up his hose. It is so stinking cool. We have that. We've been running water everywhere. We built a steer pen with the ability to build a second one. So in April, my daughter will get her steer for next year. Oh my goodness. And that's going to be crazy because y'all, next year I'm going to be a hot mess because it is my oldest. It's her last year as a kid. So she'll be 18 in October, but it's her senior year next year. So we are hitting the end of it hard. We're going to hit it hard. Anything she wants to go do that she can't do once she's graduated, we are doing. So there's camp she wants to go to. She's going to do a heifer. She's going to show a Brahma heifer. Brahmas are really big. I'll have to show them to you once we get them here. And then she's doing an American steer, which is like a Brahma influence, they call it. Like there's Brahma, they're half Brahma, half something else. And so she does that. Then my son's like, well, I think I want to do one too. And I mean, to get into them, it's $1,000 to buy a steer. And I mean like a small steer. Well, we've been watching since 2014. Your oldest is graduating. I know she's graduating next year. Can you believe that? Remember when I would put videos of Leona as a baby? Yeah, because we've been watching. Let's see, I started videoing when Leona was born, and Leona just turned 7. So y'all been watching for 7 years. So Katie had to have been 10 at the time. She's still a ham. She's still crazy. So let me think. Where was I at? So we might have to build another stall pen. So today he was trying to find like, what is he going to do to put the top? And like, listen, we have so much stuff here. We'll have to talk about OCPD one of these times too. Obsessive compulsive personality disorder, because we realize like that's what my husband suffers from, not narcissism sometimes. And one of them is hoarding weird things. Like there's just items we tend to hoard. And we're talking, we just have like the junk pile and things like that. So we're always reusing the things that we have here and trying to find a way to put things together. So we had this old shed and it got moved into the goat barn. We'll have to have a discussion about the goat barn because I just am not happy. We went with a company out of Lake Placid, I think, and they had a company come down from Ocala to put up our barn. And the first windstorm, within 6 months, the whole thing is like leaned over. And they did not build it to what it was rated as. And so they won't return our phone calls. That is not going well. So we put it in there and it just ended up becoming a mouse house is the best way I can put it. It was junk. And so we needed to get it out. Oh, yours has it too. Oh my goodness. Right. It's not just your family. And some of my girls have it. But so today we dismantled the shed and we saved the roof because we're going to make a new chicken pen with it. So we saved the roof to use that roof for the chicken pen, and we need to build a new chicken pen. So we just ordered a hardware cloth to come in, and the original chicken coop we have right now, we are going to put geese in it. I have geese coming, and I haven't had geese since I was a kid, so I love that. I love that. So those are like things we're doing. So we got sheep coming, we have a heifer coming. We're looking at getting into a dairy cow. But what's kind of fun is, if your doers will appreciate this, but dealing with OCPD in your house, there's a lot of unfinished work. Like I still have tape on my doors because it hasn't been painted. That's one of my goals this summer, to paint this house. I thought I was going to paint it spring break, but I also realized like it's when school gets out, it's going to take me a couple of weeks to just unwind. So I think one thing I'm going to buy myself coming, I'm in a debate. Do I buy a tiller or do I buy a flip camera? Instead of using my phone to try and film everything, is to get a really good selfie camera. I'm not even cleaning the dishes. Is to get a selfie camera and do better video quality so that it's easier, and then it's like not on my phone, because a lot of times like it'll just totally go wrong filming because my phone is getting a phone call or something. So that drives me nuts. So anyways, here's my last harvest of green beans. Little rewind to earlier. Are you public school teaching? Yes. I love the kids. Now, let me tell you, and I tell them this all the time. I'm like, I love you guys, but I wish I wasn't in charge of teaching you. I just enjoy being with you. But having to have a job that requires you to do something and you don't do your stuff is so frustrating. So frustrating. I am, yeah, I'm going to take like a couple of weeks to unwind. And I'm like realizing I have to give myself that. Does that make sense? I have to give myself time. I was trying to lose weight because I've gone back up on the scales and trying to figure out how to balance. And I'm like having just a hard time maintaining my GERD. My GERD is awful. So I got a sinus infection from the pollen that from my allergies. And unfortunately, mucus from that sinus infection just lights my GERD on fire. So the acid reflux is crazy. Am I going back teaching in fall? No. Oh. Well, guess what? I got to let you go. My time is up. My house is about to be crazy. We will come back in a couple days. I promise. So until then, I will talk to you soon. Peace out. Anyways, I'll talk to you soon and we'll discuss more. Leave me comments and more what you want to hear about, and I will make a video. I promise. Starting Whole30. Not yet. All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye.